Welcome back everybody to the No Dust No Worries budget Hearthstone laddering experiment. So last time we left off we were at rank 23 with our level 7 rogue and I'm just going to hop straight back in and queue up and see what games we run into today. So just to reiterate the concept behind this run, or this set of videos, I really want to replicate the beginner's experience in Hearthstone by attempting a run from a blank account that uses only class cards, common cards, and rares. So stuff that's, you know, pretty easy to access, fairly cheap to craft, and we're gonna stay far away from epics, legendaries, and adventurers, things that are traditionally hard for a new player to get access to. So, hopping back in here, it looks like we have a fairly slow start. Anyway, you might have noticed that I've made a couple of additions to the video. We have a little win-loss counter here, so this includes the games that I played previously. And we have the current iteration of the deck on the right-hand side here. If you guys are so inclined, you know, if you're following along, starting a new Hearthstone account, you could basically build what I have here. I don't think I've put in anything that doesn't come from just leveling up as rogue. Maybe one or two cards, but nothing that's... Obviously, I'm sticking to my rules. I'm not putting in epics, legendaries, or adventure-based cards. If you are interested in experimental, you know, me experimenting with deck concepts on the ladder, I have another series called Ladder Concepts. And there, I don't restrict myself. I just play what I think might be fun. Not necessarily competitive, but fun. Okay, so we have a Zap-O-Matic to deal with. It's quite dangerous, so I think it's worth a backstab. I don't really want to sort of let it deal 6 damage to me. There was also another option to play the Voodoo Doctor, lose the heal value, and potentially run into the Zap-O-Matic next turn. But yeah, that's 6 damage to my face, which I'm not okay with. But yeah, if I was playing a Shaman version of this deck, or Shaman version of, if I was playing Shaman instead of Rogue on this run, I'd definitely put in a Zap-O-Matic. It's a common card. It's very strong. Definitely something to consider. It can single-handedly win you games because it's so high impact. You're paying 2 mana and then you can deal 6 damage to face if it stays alive. I mean, assuming no taunts. Yeah, assuming no taunts. Okay, Feral Spirits. I don't want to be hurting the wolves unless I can kill them. Generally, you don't want to do that if there's a healing totem up. So I think I'll just clear one of the wolves and play a Gnomish. I'll start with the Gnomish just to draw the card, see where we're sitting, if it changes anything. No, it doesn't. So I will just clear one of the wolves. And yeah, wait till the next turn. So yeah, Shaman can potentially get tons of value from healing totem. I'm a pretty big fan of the Shaman class as well. I like classes that have a little bit of finesse when it comes to playing them. You know, say a hunter, you always go face. It's a very, say hunters their hero powers are very straightforward, or your hero powers are very straightforward as well. So it takes the cards in the deck are what bring the class cards are what bring the interest. What bring out the sort of flavor of the class. But with classes like Rogue and Shaman, there's a lot more to think about when it comes to your hero power. I sort of like that. Okay. Frostwolf will be a 7/7. And I can keep my Razorfen alive. Yeah, let's go for it. I'm gonna wager that he doesn't have Lightning Storm or Hex, but even if he does, using 3 mana on a 5 mana turn is still pretty good for me. It's still a pretty strong tempo swing in my direction. So yeah, I think it was correct there to set up the Warlord whilst I was in an advantageous position. And it doesn't look as if he has... Okay, it's like a mini Lightning Storm. Yeah, that's not a bad card either. Fork Lightning. I haven't really experimented with it myself. Oh, okay. Looks like our opponent here has quite a few TGT. Well, quite a few. Has opened quite at least a couple of packs. Okay. Is there any way I can clear the... I really want to cash in the 7 damage to face. I don't think it's going to happen though. I don't think it's going to happen. How can I clear the Totem Golem? Or do I even need to... I think what I'll do is play safe, control the board, and heal up a little bit. I'll draw a card just to see what we get, and do a little bit of healing on our big guy. I think if he had Hex, he probably would have played it last turn. Yeah. Put the second heal on the big guy as well. I think he would have played Hex last turn, because a 7/7 is not something you leave up. Basically, you take too much damage from it, and that's exactly why he put both heals on the big guy. If I put one heal on the big guy and one heal on the Razor Fen, might have run the risk of, say, something along the lines of Spell Power Totem plus Lightning Storm, or even something like Elemental Destruction, which, you know, it probably not likely in rank 22 Shaman, but I don't think it's. I think it's silly to rule everything out. It's best to play with things in mind. Okay, I think here comes... Okay, so it's got a lot of spell-based removal, but not any silence, quote-unquote silence things. Okay, I've got 8 mana. I can Storm Pike, Weapon Up, and Deadly, but I don't need the Deadly at the moment. I think I might be better off Yeti, Ooze, and Weapon, and controlling the board. Do I want to pop one of the charges? I don't think so. I like to hold on to both charges if I'm holding a weapon buff card in hand. So that could be a Buccaneer. No, not a Buccaneer, because a Buccaneer activates when upon equipping a new weapon. But say an Auto Barber, or Deadly Poison, or Tinker's Sharp Sword Oil. Okay, so that was a fairly straightforward win. Let's hop into the next game. Give me a moment while I record the win. Okay. And we unlocked the Shaman class and Vanish. I don't think I'll be putting Vanish into this card. Vanish is a really interesting card, but I think individually the card isn't so... I guess I can say it's not very versatile. So if you compare something, say if you can compare between a card like Backstab and a card like Vanish. Backstab, you know, you can use it. Your opponent will always be playing minions. You can always deal. They'll often be playing 3/2s, and you know you can. I thought he was going to heal me. Anyway, and you can, you know, backstab an important target. You can backstab basically anything, but Vanish... Well, let me talk about it a little bit after I think I'll just Weapon Up here. I'm not going to play a 3/2 because it gets challenged by the Voodoo Doctor. But if I Weapon Up here, I can challenge anything else he plays next turn with my 1 attack weapon, and if necessary the backstab. Again, the backstab is very versatile, and going into the next turn I can play a 3/2. And yeah, unfortunately he doesn't have a 2 mana play at the moment, so we get a freebie. We get to develop a minion. So yeah, there are cards that are very versatile that are pretty good in most situations, but something like Vanish fits very specifically in decks that you know aim to return minions to hand, and I don't think there are quite enough bits in the card pool at the moment to support that style of deck. I see Vanish in decks such as Mill Rogue, maybe one of, or maybe perhaps even two of, but that's a very specific deck that does a very specific thing, and requires quite a lot of moving parts to make work. Yeah, the concept itself is quite different from really what I'm doing here, and really trying to show beginner players, you know, you just play for value. If you want to win, you just play for value. Play for tempo. That's part of the reason why I love Rogue. Tempo is so important in Hearthstone. Having your minions, because minions sleep on the first turn that they come in. If you have minions that are awake, they can do a lot more work. They can hit face. They can control the board. Do I want to send... No, I don't think I want to put any of my minions into the Shredder. I will backstab the Shredder. A backstab plus a weapon is a great answer to Shredder. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. But there's not much we're going to do about that. Probably should have drawn a card. It's okay. He's going to get some value from the Millhouse. That's just, you know, sometimes you'll get a Millhouse, sometimes you'll get a Succubus, sometimes you'll get Doomsayer. That's just the way it is with Shredder. Yeah, so another part of the reason why I like backstab. If you have your weapon up and he plays a Shredder, and they almost always play a Shredder on turn 4. Shredder is the turn 4 drop. Then you have a pretty nice answer to the first half of Shredder. And assuming you have tempo, which is the whole point of a rogue deck, you can deal with the second half of Shredder with, say, you know, something like a 2-3 or 3-2. Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm going to fan this turn. So if I fan, Raptor's going to go into here. I'll have to weapon up and clear Millhouse. Okay, let's see how it goes. See if we draw anything. Okay, no. So yeah, as planned. Yeah, I'm gonna clear Millhouse with the weapon instead of clearing the Raptor, because doing this leaves my Inventor alive, which taxes his hero power. So leaving a 2-1 up, even though he can just hero power, it costs him 2 mana. He can essentially only make a 4 mana play, or if he wants to make a 5 or 6 mana play, he has to not deal with the 2-1. So it's not always the worst idea. You know, even against classes that can deal 1 damage. Okay, I think I will develop a load of stuff, and I think Swipe is a common card. It's a class common, I think, so I think I'll hold off on playing the Voodoo Doctors and just weapon up. And as I said before, I really like, it's really useful to have a full weapon if your hand has a weapon buff in it, because then it gives you a lot of versatility as to what you can do the next turn. If you only have 1 charge on your weapon, you know, you lose essentially 2 damage. It could be 2 damage to face, 2 damage to, you know, pretty much anything. Okay, I don't think I'm in danger of dying. I think I'll just slow play it here. He Starfired face, but I don't think there's any way he can deal 10 damage on 8 mana.
Here we go.
So I'm just going to slow play it and develop the weapon.
Job's done.
And we have 3, 6, 9, 12 damage on the board. I probably could have played one of the 2-1s, or all of the 2-1s to try and push for lethal next turn. But there we go, there's the swipe. So if I had done that, I would have lost it. His swipe would have done a lot more work than it is doing now. So it turned out to be a better play to leave the 2-1s in my hand, and now he's spent both swipes, so I'm not afraid to swipe. I can extend as far onto the board as I'd like with 2-1s and set up for lethal in the next turn. The only thing that can sort of get me is an unstable ghoul or a tree. Well, that's not too bad. I can deal with tree. especially when we get one of these fellas in our hand.
The might of Stormwind.
Okay, so I think I'll go 3-3-2 into Trine. I don't think I want to take 8 damage to my face. 3-2, and
Here we go.
you might say it's wasteful to swing the weapon at the face, but it's always really good to if the matchup is coming down to if your opponent, basically if your opponent's health is getting dangerously low, sometimes it's fine to swing, and even though you might mess up the next turn, it puts them on the back foot and it forces them to make plays like the healing touch. Whereas, you know, if he might not have been able to play, say, another protect, well, yeah, he would have played another protector, but say he had an ogre in his hand. Either way, we're done with this game. Yeah, so there's a lot of situations where you know, whether should you use your weapon, should you save your weapon, should you swing at the face just for 1 damage, should you do this or that, and we'll go through that. I really like talking about the intricacies of rogue play. Okay, so we have reached rank 22. Let's record another win, and I think that I will finish up this video for now. And so thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a very lovely day, and I'll see you guys next time.